This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission to 15.
We're doing Halloween month here, and this is the kind of the cap to that. We started off with, I don't know what you would call it, kind of a slasher. It's kind of horror. Foreign, get all those categories in there. Battle Royale. And then next one, we kind of went horror comedy, classic, Evil Dead 2. And this week,
it's straight up horror.
I wouldn't say it's straight up horror, though. It's the closest to straight up horror.
I would say psychological horror.
Psychological
it's more
horror.
psychological.
It's got some drama in there, too. A little bit of drama.
So I'll just say, too, before we talk about it, this there's a lot of spoilers. I think if you really like horror movies or psychological horror especially, this is one to go see.
Yes.
And it's good to just go see blind.
Because there are twists and stuff that will kind of ruin your first going, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good idea. If you are interested in seeing this, then don't listen to us.
Then don't listen to this.
But yeah, anyway.
This is one of the better, in my opinion, this is one of the better horror movies of recent years that you could possibly see.
I agree.
It was creepy.
As far as a horror, creepy is a great word. As far as a horror movie freaking me out or making me feel really uncomfortable, it's...
Yeah, so what are we watching this week, guys?
The Babadook.
This movie came out in 2014. It's called The Babadook. It's an Australian horror movie written and directed by Jennifer Kent, which is the first movie that she's made. The synopsis is, a single mother and her child fall into a deep well of paranoia when an eerie children's book titled Mr. Babadook manifests in their home.
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys go first the other two times. You mind if I go first in this one?
No, please do.
I have the book from the movie, just to kind of show you how much
I would not have
fan.
that. I'm not keeping that in my house.
I know. Do you like to leave it in places for Naomi to find?
No, she hates this movie. So, yeah, I've said this to you guys before, but this movie we saw in the theaters, and it is the reason she no longer watches horror movies with me. So if that gives you an idea of how scary this movie is, I also just want to...
It is very scary. The book itself is probably the scariest part.
Yeah.
So
this,
they have...
I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yeah. Oh, they really have it just like the movie.
It's the exact same thing, and they fill out. You know how, like in the movie, the last pages are empty.
Yeah.
They fill out. Like, look at this thing.
What happened?
Oh,
God,
Jesus Christ.
That is terrifying. How did you get a hold of this?
I was a huge fan of this movie. They sold 2,000 copies of this thing.
Oh.
You can see I have copy number 1,696 out of 2,000.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So. Yeah, and it took like 2 years for them to make it, so I was waiting for it for 2 years.
Oh, I'll be damned! I thought they would have had it as like promotional material.
True fan.
Well, it was. Like,
He's a true fan, huh?
You pre-order. Oh, shit, I'm all tangled up now. I moved around too much. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
But yeah,
so
you pre-ordered it, and then she's like,
to us.
"Oh, I can read it to you. That'll be the Babadook corner. How about that?"
Yeah. There you go. That's good.
The Babadook
So yeah, preface. I might sound a little fanboy, because I totally am with this movie. I love horror movies. They're probably tied with sci-fi and my favorite genre of movies. They're the most underappreciated genres because I think a lot of them suck. It's really easy to make them suck. And it's, especially for horror movies, it's really easy to make a low budget horror movie with bad actors, and people do that all the time.
AKA Evil Dead.
Sometimes they break out. Yeah, but that's true. I mean, you can buy a gallon of, you can find your friend who's willing to take her top off, and you can find a bucket of blood, and you can spend $5,000, and you might draw.
Yeah.
You might make some money, it's just easy, cheap cinema.
You got friends that'll take their tops off?
These directors do. Like the people who are like in Hollywood, they're like, we'll put you in a movie. I haven't had one of
those friends in a long time.
There was a topless friend in the first Evil Dead movie. Like it's in all low budget horror movies, you kind of got to put a topless girl in there. At least you used to have to back in the 70s and 80s.
I'd ask, and they'd be like, "You sick fuck, get away from me."
Yeah, but that's kind of the reason why it gets like a bad rap, because it's not a lot of quality a lot of the time. Like I would say, 90% plus.
No, it's stupid shit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just dumb shit with blood and you know. Yeah.
But when it's done correctly, like this movie, this is psychological. Yeah. This is psychological. Yeah. And this movie, you can kind of go through, and it definitely rips off certain scares from other movies a lot. Like the basement thing is kind of ripped off. The knocking on the door, nobody's there, is ripped off. The person like in the closet, like all that stuff, totally been done before.
Yeah, but the movie context,
right? So that's what this movie does spectacularly well, is that it brings in not only like amazing acting, and it does those like individual scare things really well, but the characters and the conflicts that really seamlessly go back and forth between like their real life problems and how this monster is manifesting itself in like an extremely metaphorical way that in a shittier art house movie, it would just seem too obvious. But in this one, it works, I think, perfectly between like, you know, this monster is the grief of this woman who lost her husband. And even like without knowing that, you kind of learn that at the end when she has to feed the thing in the basement. It's like you need to deal with your grief or it'll make you go crazy, which she learns how to do. She has to feed the monster, but also she comes out of the house and had been crying, you know, so it's kind of like it does it both ways really well. But even without knowing that, you think like when you start the movie, TC, this is your first time watching it, you probably think this movie is about a kid who's out of his fucking mind and is uncontrollable, right? But then it's like the movie goes on, and you realize it's like the mother.
I hate the kid.
Oh no! This kid is one of my favorite actors I've ever seen.
The fuck up is all I kept saying to the screen. If I was that parent, I'd be screaming, "Shut up!" over and over again.
Yeah. That's part of the point too, though, right? Because a normal parent would, and the kid might be more stable, but she's so distant all the time that she's
she doesn't
able
do
to
shit. Lame duck mother.
So I think that's part of the point of the movie, and that's part of why it works perfectly. Yeah.
I mean, the kid is kind of, they do set up the beginning with the kid being the focal point because he pushes the girl out of the treehouse.
Yeah.
You think he's just some psycho kid that's going to end up on the
he's
ID
building
channel,
weapons.
You know?
Like, you're like, oh my God, this kid's going to kill somebody
kid's making
in school.
weapons. Little do you know that it's actually going to come out and be a good weapon later.
Yeah.
But
I like the turn where the kid gets to be the hero towards the end and becomes more likable, and it's great because you're feeling.
No, he becomes like, why is my mom psycho?
Yeah,
right, you start seeing it in his face. Like, I thought I was the bad one. This was lady's nuts, you know? Like,
right?
Yeah.
But I just like that because then your feelings toward the kid's turn, because he's supposed to be annoying and on your nerves in the beginning too. Because then you get to see it. You're seeing it from the mother's perspective almost. That's how he's grating on her, and I think the movie does that really well too. So that you can sort of understand where all that's coming from in a way, or you're at least feeling like you're getting her perspective on things.
I think the scariest part for me was the book.
The book was terrifying.
When it put itself back together and then changed the fucking, text that was in it. I was
she's like wringing the kid's neck back and forth.
Yeah. I was like,
shit.
What? What?
Yeah, that was terrifying. Really, really well done.
The other parts, though, that didn't really bother me too much, like him being on screen, where they would do the little, I forget what movie that was.
Scary bits.
Yeah, like where it'd be like that stuff didn't scare me as much. I don't know why. Maybe because I was assuming it was going to happen. It was the mental shit for me that was getting me more than anything.
How about the
else.
low end? So I've seen this movie a few times, DC, and even still, like there are a couple of a foot on wood or like the very low end banging, which like startled me still.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I did watch it. Denny had texted me to watch it with the sound, but I had already done it, luckily.
Nice.
And just because I assumed that it was going to be one of those movies, and it was, there was definitely some sound stuff in there that was also part of the scare.
Yeah. But those things last like that. Yeah. I mean, it's just like a quick. You can almost not even avoid it. It's just instinct shit.
So if John, you watched it on your phone, you probably didn't get any of that.
No, well, I did have my noise canceling earbuds in, so I got some of it. I got pretty good like directional sound.
You got all the below 110.
Yeah,
hertz.
I do what I can.
Cinematography is great. The set is great. This is a set, which is nuts. Like that house, the interior, it looks like the inside of a house. Mm-hmm. There are some special effects things that I'll talk about during trivia that are mind blowing because they're so simple, but you would have never had guessed it. And knowing the kind of things like how they kept the little kid out of this movie, like in terms of when they were filming, they protected him from all this stuff. Like this is an intense movie. And when you're watching it, you just think that she's like screaming at this kid and the kid is screaming back at her and they're both terrified, but they do a lot of things where that's not actually the case. Like the kid matches her intensity, the Essie Davis's intensity, to a point where you don't even recognize that they might be doing some editing tricks, or you might not be really.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's amazing filmmaking.
And also like very humanitarian as far as towards the kid.
Kid was 6 years old in this.
No way. He does not seem 6.
Doesn't he? They actually tried to.
You
have a 5-year-old, right?
Well, I have a soon to be 7-year-old.
So you have a 6-year-old.
Sam is 6, and
So what they said when they were doing the auditions, they were looking at 8 and 9-year-olds, but they said that they were too aware. So they were looking for something that was a little more innocent, and the 8 and 9-year-olds were just a little too smart to represent a 6-year-old. So they found this kid, Noah Weissman.
Yeah, he did it well.
Yeah.
His scream was so annoying.
But it's a little kid, isn't it supposed to be?
Yeah, I am. I'm not saying
when he had the seizure,
wasn't right.
When he had the seizure in the back of the car, I can't believe a kid could do that.
Yeah.
You know?
What did they do? How did they get him to do that? I mean,
they were playing pretend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They get like a quick little thing. They do like small little things like, oh, I'm stealing your Legos, you're mad. And the kid would like scream and shake. And they would do things like, can you do this? Like for the seizure thing, both the director and Essie Davis, the lead actress, would be like, when I get really mad, I go like this. And then they like do the seizure thing. And you're like, oh yeah, when I get mad, I go like this. And they do pretty much the same thing. They're like, can you do that? And then he would just replicate them and like be having fun while he did it.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Having no clue what it was.
No clue.
Yeah.
They lied to him about the plot of the movie. They told him it was about he was a hero. Like basically all he knew was that he was the hero of the story and he was saving his mother.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah.
That works.
So they never really fully explained the scenes to him, the narrative, anything like that.
He probably wouldn't have understood most of it anyway.
Right.
Interesting to get an interview with him now to see what his
he's
old
12.
thoughts are on this after this. Yeah.
he's only 12
now.
I mean, it's not the old movie.
Yeah, he's not grown up yet.
Yeah. Some people, that was one of the funny things. Essie Davis in an interview was like, people are always like, where'd he go? And you're like, he's 12. He's still a child. Leave him alone.
That's fair.
What's he doing these days? How come he's not acting?
He's all washed up.
Yeah.
He's all washed
he's
up.
Going
There's
to
nothing
school.
on his,
that's about it.
There's nothing on his IMDb page. He's one of those has-beens. He's
One hit
probably
wonder.
Drugs.
Right.
What
kind of parents does he have anyways? They're not putting him into auditions? Come on.
Yeah.
His mom was on set every day.
Yeah.
Probably had to be.
Yeah. That's all I can think of now. TC, this is your first time watching it. You hated the kid, and you got scared a couple times.
Good to get scared. Yep. I mean, I'm not a huge horror fan, like I've said, so I can't say I loved this movie, but it did what it was supposed to. It scared me. Got me a little shooken up on some of the book scenes. I mean, yeah.
You ever think a movie would have made you afraid of a pop-up book?
No, I didn't. So,
hey, kudos there.
That's bonus points.
I mean, I really don't have much to say for this one. It did exactly what it was supposed to. Nothing was bad about it as far as, watching it. The sound was good. The shots were good. The effects seemed realistic. And
did you not get invested in the drama stuff?
No, not
at all.
No. But I don't with these types of movies. I don't know why. It's just horror movies don't do it for me. I'm not like you are with I don't like movies. We've been over this like 8,000 times. I don't like things.
Yeah. The part of the point I was trying to make earlier is like this one's a rare one because I typically don't, even when I like a horror movie, there's like the characters I don't necessarily care about. I'm cheering for them to die or I'm just excited that something exciting is happening. But by the end of this one,
it's uncomfortable watching that woman deteriorate into, insanity.
Yeah.
So she's a good actor.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Her ability to convey those Bring me the boy. She does the breakdown.
Bring me the boy. Bring me the boy. I just kept saying that while I was watching it too. Bring me the boy. Stop calling him the boy. These are the things I was doing while I was watching it.
You have little puppets?
Yeah. I'm like having my own little thing going in my head, while I'm watching it. Yeah. Bring me the boy. Stop calling him the boy. Bring me the boy. Then you got Timmy in there.
I got to get a new roommate.
Shut the fuck up, you stupid little boy. That whole thing. And then this is why I'm barely watching the full fucking movie,
No, that's right.
Yeah, I'm devolving into my own insanity.
I'm just imagining your roommates like looking through the crack in your door going, Jesus.
Yeah, bring me the boy. Bring me the boy.
You're just trying to protect yourself from being scared. You're just making it goofy so you're not frightened.
These are safety mechanisms.
That's
Exactly. If I make fun of it,
because I thought that part was terrifying when she goes and sees his husband and she.
It fucking was. It was absolutely terrifying. So I had to make fun of it to like lessen the blow. Yeah. Exactly. So John, what do you got?
This film is just insanely effective. This is the second time I saw it. I saw it in the theater. I swore it was with Denny, but it must have been somebody else. And then I must have just talked with you about it afterwards or something.
Have you ever, I saw this with Naomi in the theater once, 100%. Did you ever see a movie with me and Naomi in the theater? Maybe that will ring a bell. I don't really remember.
Maybe.
See, I wish I had seen this in a theater.
And I would
have been way
remember
scarier.
it freaked Naomi out. I think I would have remembered all of that if I was there as that happened. But,
I think it's hard to be scared with some of this dark shit too when it's daylight outside and you're watching it with daylight.
Because I bet this was what is it, in Boylston or what is it, Back Bay? There's that theater that was there, the indie theater.
Back Bay Indie Theater.
No,
in Boylston and Back Bay, those are two different places.
No, God damn it. I can't remember any of my Boston suburbs.
Those two places, I have no idea where they are.
What was the theater? There's an indie theater that was not far from where I lived in Jamaica Plain, and I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, I definitely never went to that one. Okay.
So there was a good one there. Was it Back Bay?
Jesus Christ. All right. Anyways, moving on.
Sorry.
We'll get to the bottom of this yet.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll find out. No one cares.
Yeah, anyway. Like processing directionals.
I know. I'm sure that's where I saw it because it wasn't like a major release at the time. It was great. So this film is just amazing and really one of the spooky, this sort of like not scary, but also the drama of it, like her dislike of her kid is really affecting. It's really upsetting. And you can sort of understand it, but this idea of not just grief, but anger or bitterness at what you're left with. So, it's not just that she said her husband's dead. It's like what she's left with and how she hasn't coped and how she, her son is so needy and dependent on her and she feels all alone and how she resents the kid. And the opening of the movie is just perfect. The way it's like her in bed with him like grinding his teeth and sort of clutching at her, and that's when you get the title. The movie
was
makes
that
it,
after the title, because the first scene was the car crash, right, where she's like spinning slow mo.
Right. But then
immediately after that,
it's like she's dreaming. So it's like really like the movie like lays out almost kind of what it's about right there. Although you don't, it's not that direct right then, but it's just basically saying, it's about her and her son. That's what this whole movie is about, really. And it's not, the monster is sort of like, it's part of it, but it's really about her relationship with her kid that sort of like spawns the monster in a way. So I just think it's so amazingly done and disturbing, so disturbing. When you're parents, if you see this, but there are times when you're really frustrated and annoyed as hell with your kids and really mad at them. They've just done something horrible and they're all like clawing at you. I'm sorry. And you're like, get away. I'm so mad at you.
That's what Jennifer Kent talks about, is how like no one likes to talk about it because it's such a horrible idea. But like parents frequently have like little tiny fantasies about killing their kids just because they're so freaking annoying. And you would never do it, but it's like it's a thought. And it's like,
God, I fucking can't stand you right now. Yeah.
Right, and it's you can't even talk about it because you sound like a terrible parent, but everybody goes through
even
it.
Just the feelings, just everybody does go through it. Or even you go through that with people you love, not just your kids, but your loved ones.
But it'd be much easier to kill a kid, right? They're so small.
Yeah.
Like maybe break its neck like a dog.
Jesus, guys.
All right.
Sorry, you're trying to say something serious?
Just slit their throat like, like in the book.
Dude. I know you're just enjoying it. This is why I'll
never have kids. This is why no one wants to get topless around me either,
Yeah, right. Well, we have some kids and we can strangle them together.
We'll strangle them like a puppy, You never do that?
It's in the pop-up book, John. It's allowed to be spoken about in the podcast.
I know. I'm sorry. But you're right. That's what I think is so deeply disturbing about this film is that it's not some weird out of like fantasy, strange, there's demons from hell shit. It's really more like this thing about the feelings. It's like giving like a physical manifestation to her feelings and her insanity. So in a way, I mean, the film doesn't try to do this really, but it could have like put this all in her mind. It could have. I don't think it spins it that way, but
it kind of does.
But with some small changes. It could have been like all in her head. Like this is all her insanity and has nothing to do with any.
Well, there were never any cockroaches, so it kind of is all
right.
In her head.
So
I mean, there's a lot of like fantasy stuff that happens that isn't explained. Like this isn't a realistic movie, but it hits like the acting and the topics are so realistic that it just gets away with everything it tries to do.
In a way, I'm glad it didn't try to do that even because it's like, oh, was it real? Was it not? I don't
like that
either.
It's kind of that. It's two sides, right? When she goes down and feeds worms to the Babadook at the end, in reality, you're supposed to believe as she walks out of the house with she just cried. Like you're supposed to believe that in reality, maybe all she did was like think about her husband and cry about it and feel the negative emotions. That way she can get on with her life normally.
But I like how the movie doesn't even try to be that explicit about that or rub your face in that kind of like, oh, maybe it was all a dream. I appreciate that. I mean, but a lot of it is, I mean, just sort of her descent is really well done. I was scared by the moving around, the skittering of stuff.
Me too.
Freaked me out.
Dude, I honestly, I watched this with headphones on, and I had to watch it because Naomi was doing a cooking class thing, so we both had headphones on. But there were 2 scenes where I wimped out, and I pulled my headset off like this because I was afraid.
Shit.
So, like, I like it in theaters more when I can't do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you're forced.
Or if I watch it on speakers, but like, I'm just like, I'm too afraid.
All you do is like scrunch in your seat when that happens in the theater, right?
But I wimped out twice, and I've already seen this movie a few times.
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
The audio is insanely good. Although there are a couple times when the Babadook screaming and it sounds like the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love the sound trivia. Should I just tell you now? Should I interweave it?
Yes, let's hear it.
So they took sounds from old video games from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, nice.
Warcraft 2 is in there. The game called XCOM.
Yeah, XCOM.
The original
Enemy
Resident.
Unknown.
Yeah, the original Resident Evil game and Mortal Kombat 3.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Get over here. That's really cool. I wonder what the licensing is like for that sort of stuff. It was like if it was kind of cheap for them to do that.
They probably didn't pay for it.
Or they didn't.
I think it was like internet sleuths that found out about it. That like recognized and mixed in there and were like, that's for Mortal Kombat 3. Right.
And then Midway went after their asses. Yeah. I don't know. But
that was the scary part.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I thought that the effects were frightening. I thought the idea that I don't know of. I'm sure there's other movies that have tried to do this where the monster is her, but there's a separation and a combining of her and the monster and this descent as they sort of become one almost, and then they separate again. I just, there's always all kinds of horror movies about someone who becomes possessed by something, but this is different. This is like her own feelings and stuff manifesting, and then I don't know. I just the interplay between those things is really interesting and really well done.
And another movie. I mean, some people call this the reverse gender Shining, where it's just a slow descent into madness sort of thing, and tries to kill their kid. But the difference
what
this
now? The reverse gender Shining
is what people call it.
What?
That's not my.
Who
if you have a problem with that, it's not my fault. That's what
God.
people call it.
I don't have a problem with it. I just don't understand it. Like, what does that even
instead of a
mean?
man going crazy, it's a woman going crazy. See? See
that? Oh, got it.
You got it?
All right. Yeah. No, I figured that's what it was, but it just seems so ridiculous. Yeah.
We don't have the male counterpart of The Shining in this movie of some guy going, "Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God!"
They figured nobody liked Wendy Torrance, so they cut that part out of this one.
That's right.
To see that.
They only had to do that once in life, and everyone was like, "Let's not do that."
Look at this! It's on the ceiling. Look at that! Do you see this?
Anyway, but this one takes it a step forward, right? Because like that one's about ghosts and shit, and this one's about mental health. And it takes and even though it's like a crazy horror movie with like fantastical elements, it takes that stuff really seriously.
Yes, and the characters do, and they not only showing like her grief and her despising her son, but her loneliness is so well portrayed. And her feeling of being outcast and how, like, when she's dealing with her sister or with their, like at that party, those scenes were so well done and awkward and uncomfortable. That again, it just, the whole movie has such a great serious tone to it where they're showing like how horrible this is for her and how stuck she is and how other people see her too. And it's just pretty amazing, like all the way around where she's going crazy. She's nuts. She hates your kid. You sympathize with her. Because she's just, you can really get a sense of how miserable and unhappy she is and just really like in this dark place. And again, it's just very impressive all the way around because of all of that. And then you add these horror elements that are still really frightening, which I think is also, it's weird. It almost like it doesn't lighten the mood, but it shifts it a little bit so that you're not just stuck in this horrible psychological misery. You have this horror piece in a way that's good because otherwise the film would just be way too depressing and awful. So it sort of like helps the movie like not get too.
It lightens the mood when the scary parts come up. Seriously,
does.
Yeah, it does.
Totally, even though it's frightening, it does lighten the mood.
Yeah,
and
jump scares, you kind of laugh at yourself afterwards, right?
Yeah, right.
But when you watch a kid like in a scary ass situation, like with no food in the house and the mother's depressed in bed, that's not fucking funny.
No. Right. So, it's just really, really well done. I'm kind of with TC. I'm not a big horror. I don't love horror movies. The most that I love them is if I go see them in a theater.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for humoring me these past 3 weeks.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. But I appreciate them too. I like seeing them with other people. It's fun to get scared with somebody.
And I think it would just be better to have the dark room with the loud speakers and, your 5.1 system's great. But like I said, I watched it midday.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, didn't set the tone right. I don't think.
That's fair. But this one is really good. This is as good as any horror movie I've seen. And because of its seriousness, I think that's what really separates it too, is how it really blends the reality and the emotions with the sort of horror elements. And I think that's what makes it so amazing. I think Alien does some of that maybe, but it's not nearly as psychological. It just presents like the monster in this really like super real world environment that's also science fiction. So there's like a realism to it that is kind of makes it sort of interesting. But that's about the only movie I can think of in comparison, which is maybe an odd one. But
there are a couple other ones. The Witch is one, I think.
Oh yeah, you're our horror movie expert,
yeah.
Right? So
The Witch is an amazing movie.
I haven't seen The Witch. Yeah,
but it is rare. This is like a really rare tone of movie to hit, and I don't think it's because people don't try. I think it's because it's extremely difficult to get actual good characters and good drama in there, like that's the hard part. And then once you can like weave in horror elements, like most people just try to think about scary things and then just write a movie. It just seems to rotate it, like focus on the scary scenes and then everything else is just glue. So it's kind of like most horror movies are like pornos, right? Like pornos with stories. You have to get to the action part and the rest of it in the middle is just complete trash.
Right.
And only
a
select few of weirdos like
story.
Only the weirdos watch the entire thing for the story. You're there for the blood if you like the shitty horror movies.
Interested to see what happens to the pizza guy.
I wonder what they're going to do with the chainsaw.
Yeah. But this one is not like that because nobody dies except for the dog. There's no human deaths in this movie.
Yeah, that was a little rough, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Like the fucking dog, it just happened just like the book. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
She cut the dog's head off in the book. She strangled the dog in reality, and then she was going to go cut the kid's throat.
Oh, you're right.
No, she strangled the dog.
She strangled the kid in the book.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought she sliced the kid in the book.
No, the scene where she was like going like that, going back and forth, it's the kid with his neck being wrung, and it's the one before that where she has the dog and goes. Whoosh.
That's some fucked up shit.
Is it the dog and you see all the blood? It sort of
then she cuts her own throat, I think.
Oh,
no, she cuts the dog's head off, and then she cuts her own throat.
The book is right in front of you. Why don't you open the fucking thing? Yeah.
Let's settle this right here and now.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
I fucking forgot that I had this right here.
What we think the thing is, the book's in front of you.
Where did the word Babadook come from? Do you know?
So people say that it's, so this is false, but in Hebrew, Babadook means he is coming for you. He is coming for sure in Hebrew.
Oh.
So people thought that's what it was.
Creepy.
That's not what it was. According to Jennifer Kent, the writer-director, part of the influence was from the Serbian name for boogeyman, which is Babaroga. But then she also wanted to have it sound like a name that a kid would make up. She said Jabberwocky. She tried to pretty much combine Babaroga with Jabberwocky, and she got Babadook. So
Babadook.
Yeah, that's still creepy. I still the way they do that is it's frightening.
I love that cut too when she's just like staring at it. Is he? What is the little kid screaming? He's like, is he a friend? Is he a friend? And then just cuts to him crying in the lap if she's reading like a safer story.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
They do a lot of hard cuts in this film really effectively.
Yes.
Yep.
I am looking through the book here.
Denny, what's that?
Strangling the kid. Yeah, right there.
Okay, strangling the kid. Yeah.
Can you make it move?
What do we got for the dog?
Can you make it move?
What do we got for the dog?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's terrifying.
Yeah. And the dog.
How much are those things going for on eBay?
Oh, then she cuts her own throat right here.
Slice.
Holy
God,
cow,
that's some fucked up shit.
That is nasty.
Book is amazing.
If somebody hadn't seen this movie and they just walk into your house,
if you ever have kids,
I have this thing hidden, dude. This thing is going to be a fucking collector's item.
You better lock that book up if you ever have kids. Yeah.
Oh, she
they'll lose their shit.
She breaks the dog's head off, but I don't think it breaks off.
Right. See, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
And the dog's head kind of flops over, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She does do that. So she's going to strangle both of them and then cut her own throat. So,
all right.
That's
so
good
you were
stuff.
wrong, Danny.
I was wrong.
About your favorite
You were wrong,
movie.
and you own the
I was
book,
right about the kid being
fucking
strangled.
guy.
She didn't slice the kid's throat.
Well,
I was
I'm
right
not
about
talking
that.
about. I'm not talking about
we
where
were
you're
talking
right.
about
I'm
the
talking about
dog.
where you're wrong.
We were talking about
Yeah.
both things. I was half right and
That's
half
right.
wrong.
We're not talking
as we
about us
were.
being wrong. We're talking
Okay,
about you being wrong.
It's a rare thing. I'll give it to you, okay? I should have been right 100%. I have the book right
You
here.
should have. You should have.
Right. Exactly what we're saying.
How many times have you seen this movie?
4 times. 4 times, and I will watch it again.
Yeah, I will not.
Yeah, I would love to see it in the theater. Gotta find one of those rich people that have their own theaters and like go throw this on.
About to you want to. I think that's everything for reaction. So I don't know if you want to do more book reading or trivia. I have questions, a couple of questions for you, the horror movie and film expert, to answer.
Sure. Do you want to do those now?
Okay.
What?
Actually, there aren't many. Maybe just one.
Am I being quizzed? Is this what is this? I don't think we've ever done this before.
This is like what you know. This is what you usually do to me, is if I know the answers to things.
Oh,
Sometimes why did this happen? Yeah, I know. I just make things up. But so in the movie, there's the part where it goes into her mouth, and that's like, oh, well, that's where she's let the Babadook in, right? But then later, he's out again, and she's like prone on her stomach, and then he seems to enter her again, and that like you got
Sounds
the
like a bad
dilation
porno.
shot.
Whatever you're describing, right?
Sorry. But
yeah, I wasn't thinking that, but I hear it now.
I don't understand why she lets him in twice. Like, what happens there? Like,
yeah, why does she let him in twice?
I don't know.
She lets him.
I don't even know that happened twice. I know at the end, like she ends up vomiting him out, kind of right towards the end.
But there's the one scene where the Babadook like just like goes in her mouth. Like that's first happens.
Is that when he's on the ceiling type of thing?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
okay.
Right. And it's like, okay, now do you think then, okay, now she's possessed by him and goes crazy.
But that was a dream, wasn't it?
But that's not quite it. Oh, maybe.
I think that was a dream.
Was that a dream?
Because then she wakes up after
then
that,
the book comes back and he's bigger. Like the pop-up book changes where he's bigger on the ceiling in the new pop-up book.
So maybe TC's got it kind of that was more of her like dreaming about it kind of. That's not where he really where she really let him in.
Because that happened when the book was outside of the house. And the second time it happened, the book was inside the house.
All right.
I haven't thought about this before, but that's the sequence of events
That's
I think
creepy
what
shit.
happens.
Yeah.
So creepy.
So then she just dreams it, but then when that's when she really lets him in later. Because once she does that, then she's nuts. She's gone, right? So until she has to like cough him back out. Question answered.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's kind of a slow. Yeah, I'm not even sure I like that too much because it's kind of a slow descent, isn't it? It's not like she's fine. She eats the Babadook and then she's fucking nuts, right? It's like she's going down,
right,
the whole time.
Yeah, she's going down.
Yeah,
she is. Well, she's getting like crazier and crazier.
So screwed. Every scene, it was just like there were more tears coming from her eyes every 5 minutes. It was fucking.
I don't even imagine how you do that kind of acting. Holy cow!
She had a really hard time with it.
It must make you kind of nuts because you have to be in that zone.
Yep.
All the time.
We can get to that, but she was a great person to listen to because she, instead of talking about herself specifically, all she did was like credit other horror actors.
Oh.
And, just be like, it's amazing what horror actors do because, it just takes a lot out of you having to get into these places where you have to feel. So it's like, she wasn't even just like, I'm amazing and this is how I did it. She's just like, this is hard to do. And people who do it are great.
Yeah. Oh, well, that I like that. Or even then, the other's like, oh, this is really hard for me. I had to work so hard to get into character, and I really had to put my mind in a special place. It's really hard to be Batman. You really have to like think about it.
It's really hard to be Batman.
Right? So,
it's like people are just like, do you like me for me or do you like me for my rubber nipples? I can't tell.
Right? See?
Or is it just my voice?
Yeah, right. Anyway, so that's I think that's impressive too. It's like did she like by name? Did she say like her favorites, or is she just mentioning them in general?
Just in general.
Right,
she actually, she's not a big horror movie fan. Yeah. So this is kind of funny how we can talk about this in trivia too. I think we probably can get there pretty soon, but same kind of thing. They tried to make a movie for a while that wasn't a horror movie. They actually thought it was the way Essie Davis, the non-writer director, the main actress in this movie described it, was, just for context before I go into this too. Sorry for jumping around. Essie Davis, the lead actress in this movie, and Jennifer Kent, the writer-director, went to art school together to study as actors in the 90s. And they have been friends since the early 90s.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So they know each other pretty good. So Jennifer Kent was an actor for 20 years, but then she tried to, she didn't like it really. So she wanted to get into the directing game. She wrote Lars von Trier a letter saying, I don't want to go to director school, but I want to be a director. I'd rather stick needles in my eyes than go to director school. Could I please just come on set and try to learn from you? And Lars von Trier was working on Dogville at the time, and he accepted. So then she went and worked on the set of Dogville for, I don't know, a couple months probably. Wow. I learned a lot from him. She said the main lessons she learned from Lars von Trier was that, number one, you have to be stubborn to be a good director. You have to be. Otherwise, people will convince you that your idea is bad and you'll change your mind. Like, to have a vision and to go forward with it, you have to be stubborn. Number one. Number two, surround yourself with people that you like and that you consider like a working family type of thing. And that's kind of what Jennifer Kent did with this movie. She's never done a movie before, but she knew a lot of people in the industry. So she wrote the role for Essie Davis. She was basically guaranteed the part. I think one of the only people they brought in from elsewhere was the cinematographer, who was a Polish cinematographer. It was their first English language movie. They were kind of unknown, but I guess found them somewhere. Radek Ladkutz, probably way wrong, but anyway.
That sounds good to me. I mean,
yeah.
Mr. Ladcut.
So I had a long narrative going here. Where was I going with that whole thing?
No idea.
Am I just deep in trivia now?
I think you're in trivia. I think we're there.
Yeah. We were just talking about how hard the acting was. That's what kicked this off. And you talked about how the actress was very respectful about horror.
Yes.
Oh, the other thing you were saying is that originally they were not going after this as horror. They were going after something else.
There you go. So back to that track. So yeah, so
you're welcome.
So Jennifer Kent had a short film called Monster she made in 2005. Right. If you can find it, it's only 10 minutes long. A lot of it like found its way into this movie. The pop-up book is in that short. The general look of the monster in that kind of looks like the Babadook. He's like a trench-coated, top-hatted, like long black finger type of dude. And they end up feeding him at the end. Spoilers for the short, I guess. But, that sat there for a while. She didn't want to work on a horror movie. She wrote some other movie that was going to be a combination between what she said, Pan's Labyrinth and The Nightingale is what they said. But that was the movie that Jennifer Kent made after the Babadook, so I don't know how that works. But anyway, she wrote a movie similar to Pan's Labyrinth before Pan's Labyrinth came out. It kind of fell apart when Pan's Labyrinth came out because it was too similar.
Guillermo.
Yeah. And apparently in Australia, it's just hard to get shit made because they have a thing. They had like a phrase for it. I forget what it was. I think I have it written down. I will find it. It is important. It's totally important. You guys will love it. Culture cringe is a thing they talk about in Australia. And it's this like thing that's been talked about for decades where if something is made in Australia and isn't appreciated off seas, then Australians don't like it either. So the only way you can make it in Australia is to make it in Australia and then also make it like you create
like it has
it
to
in
go
Australia.
Both places?
Yeah, it has to be big in another country before Australians will respect it. Which is weird.
What the fuck?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a thing. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's something people talk about.
It's something that people are aware of.
Yeah,
so it's gotta be.
And it's reflected in
Has
this
some
movie
merit.
too, because this movie had a $2 million budget. The production
That's
company,
it, huh?
That's it. The production company that made it, Essie Davis, the actor, was talking about like she talked shit on them a lot because once it was premiering, they didn't invite any press to any of the premieres. They didn't invite anybody to any of the premieres. So when they flew to places around Australia, they had to call friends of their own and other people to fill up the theaters because there was no tickets sold by the time they got to the places they were promoting the movie.
Shit. How depressing. Oh, yeah. Man.
So they basically just didn't give a shit about this movie. I don't know what their plan was in the first place, but it only made like $200,000 in Australia. But somehow they got it to be shown in the US and the UK, and those two countries alone made it $10 million. Wow. Which is great.
That's so weird.
For a horror film, too. Insane. Like,
and maybe they just weren't good at the marketing part of it.
But then so the whole thing with that culture cringe is that once it made it in the US and the UK, it started getting popular in Australia too. So they had like a kind of another introduction to like new festivals, and it started making money again in the theaters. So it's kind of real.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. Those producers are stupid. Why would you produce a movie for $2 million if you weren't going to promote it? Like,
it's going to be a cash write-off.
That's
they
right.
They actually wanted it's like the producers. They wanted it to fail.
were just funneling money.
Mistake.
They were,
You think?
Yeah,
they were,
exactly. I don't
they
know.
were washing drug money
no
through it,
Yeah, exactly. They were like, no. What? It's doing good?
Don't worry about this one, and we'll take the loss.
Like, we're going to make a horror movie about how a mom hates her son. Oh, that'll go well. Yeah, you do that. We'll finance that. We got to get rid of this money.
We got to get rid of this money.
That's a really good point. I think you might be onto something here.
Yeah. And then we'll send it to America and we'll get it all back. It'll be clean money.
What? They fucking like it? They're not supposed to like it?
I buy it. That's what I believe now.
At least it did well at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I bought this book for it's probably expensive. I forget how much it was, but
I bet.
Probably close
you
to
better
$100.
make it digital, NFT,
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
It's the only way to actually make money now.
I still don't even know what that is.
I don't either, really.
Yeah. It's a crypto GIF, and you make cash.
I dial the rotary phone, and I'll find out for you.
I keep saying it's near field transmission. I'm
Is
sorry
it
about that.
411? Do you have a 9X book around? Non-fungible token or something like that.
Fungible, yeah, that's right.
Ooh.
Fungible.
Funge.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, here's
John, you're the
Babadook.
programmer guy. You should know this.
I know. I just keep saying near field transmission, which is not,
That
but I just
isn't
keep
it.
saying that. I know. But Mr. Babadook, limited pop-up book and Blu-ray author signed, 6 numbered, is $2,000 on eBay.
Ha! So this book is worth $2,000?
Well,
Hey, that's
this
not
one's,
bad.
This one was signed. I don't know if yours is signed.
Yeah, the first 2,000 were signed.
Oh, hell
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
2K, huh? That's sweet.
So there's a
You hold
a
that for
couple
another
of
20 years, that shit'll be worth 30, 40 grand.
I know.
There's
I
one
barely
for
ever look through it. I keep it in
15.
its box with a number on it.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of
probably smart.
useless movie shit. This one's actually might be worth money someday.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
okay.
can see the
here's
boxes
another one
piling up
that's-
behind you in the room there. So
Yeah, these are like
You're not supposed to see that. No, I'm gonna
2,500.
turn the camera.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen one as much as like 2,500 already for the.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, that's
yeah.
some smart shit right there.
Aha! I did it. All of the wasted money will. I'm never gonna sell it. I'm just gonna keep it
you'll
until I
recoup
die.
it. All that wasted money.
I'm just surprised they didn't go for like a mass publication of it because it is I don't know not there's a huge market for horror pop-ups.
That gets some of your money back on the found audio marketing that we wasted.
I think so. The production they gave us
I haven't thought of that forever.
do you guys want some found audio albums? They're still in my closet. I got like 4
Oh.
boxes.
Yeah,
of them.
right. There's a
Oh
bunch
my
of them.
God.
Don't worry. We got
Yeah.
plenty. We use them as coasters.
Once we sugarman ourselves, in like 5 years or whatever, when we figure out that some country outside of the States loves us, we can just sell them there.
right. Yeah,
There we
then
go.
it'll be worth something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. By that time, I won't be able to sing, and none of us will play instruments, and then we can't do anything about it.
Hey, neither
won't
can
be
Bob
much
Dylan, but
different.
he's still selling out arenas. Nothing stopping him.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, but he was good. That's
That's a good point. Yep. You got to be good first. That makes a lot of sense.
There is that.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so we're fully in trivia time now. Do you guys want to look through this book? You want me to read it to you, or is that stupid? What do you think?
I don't know.
I'd rather not.
Rather not. That's fine.
It's creepy. It's not the best.
What
To
does
my
it
house?
say? What does it say at the end? Does it just says? Does it tell you more about the story, or like? And then I'm in the basement, and she gives me worms. It's okay.
Yeah, it kind of narrates the rest of the story.
Come on, read a little to us.
Read
Come
a little.
on.
Okay, I'm going to start from
Start from where the
where the
book
movie
leaves
ends.
off.
So the book in the movie ends when she's choking her kid, and
Oh, yeah,
then
yeah.
cuts her own throat. Right.
Right.
And then there's this big ass, the scary ass page is the one after that. That's new.
Right.
And it says, "You cannot get rid of me." The next page is her carrying the kid down somewhere. And it says, "Dare to look me in the face, try to put me in my place. I will cause you so much strife. You are trespassing in my house." That doesn't really rhyme.
Christ.
No, but you see that she's saying that back to him.
Yes.
Right. So you're seeing the
This is
Babadook
when he's
on the
trying to
left,
attack them
her
in the
response
bedroom.
on the right.
right, and this
Yeah.
is where she really stands up to him.
"If you touch my kid again, I'll fucking kill you."
Yeah.
But it's weird. They jump back in time here. "But you might just get out with your life." And then there's a big Duke at the bottom there.
Babadook. That was close.
That was pretty good. That was really good.
Yeah.
"Whether adult or child, best to give me a home, put the welcome mat out with a room of my own, and accept that I'm here and from you I have grown. Keep me smaller in size, I might leave you alone."
Oh, Jesus. I don't
There
like
you go.
this.
You got a little
It is
Babadook
very
in the
creepy.
basement there. You see that?
Yeah, there you go.
They're
Yeah,
kind
I
of
see
happy
him
standing
there.
next to each other.
Yeah, there you
lurking.
go.
"I only said might."
Dun, dun, dun.
Shit. Dun, dun, dun.
And then it says, if it's in a word or it's in a book, you can't get rid of the Babadook. And please don't be tempted to tear up this book.
Or burn it.
And then there's a big ass picture of this scary ass thing right here.
Oh, fuck that thing.
And it's all 3D and it's got fucking teeth and shit.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That is, do not let any kids ever find that book
like,
by
ooh,
accident.
a Papa book.
And then the last page is blank.
Fucking nightmares for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not going to Uncle Denny's house ever again.
Right.
I'm going to have so much weird shit. I don't know where I'm going to put all my weird shit when we have kids.
Yeah.
Locked up, hopefully.
Yeah. They're going to find it when they're 13 and just be like,
right next to the rifles.
My guns and my movie books.
Yeah, right.
My guns and my movie pop-up books that might scare you to death.
I'll keep a lock on the books.
Yeah, the rifles out
Not so
in
much
open,
the guns, yeah.
but the books,
Yes.
books all locked up.
No, here, go play with the guns, Jimmy. Leave those books
Yeah,
alone.
leave
You don't want to hurt yourself.
Don't look at the book.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for Book Corner, Denny.
Yeah, you like that? A little Baba Book Corner for you guys.
La Baba Book.
The commentary track, as much as I love this movie, I couldn't get through the commentary track. It's new. There's a limited release, so I also ordered a limited 2,000. I think it might have been more than 2,000, but the only 4K DVD you can buy of the Babadook is a limited release from the UK, and it just came out, and I just bought it. Came with a new commentary track with 2 film critics that I will not mention for their own sake. They were terrible. I had to shut it off.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was so bad. It was like top 10 worst commentary tracks I think I've
And
ever
these are
heard.
Australian?
One of them's Australian.
critics?
One of them's from the UK that used to live in Australia. Both of them had Australian accents.
Oh, my.
Not that that's the problem with the commentary
No,
track.
I know.
All right. Is he here? There's a Babadook.
They were both film. One is a film critic, and one was a film critic / academic. Shoot me!
God. Oh,
Shoot me now!
That sounds miserable.
Yes.
Oh dear.
To her credit, she wrote she's written a bunch of books about horror and stuff. So there's that. But they both thought so highly of themselves, and they were both trying to do different things. They didn't get along. They didn't know each other. They met each other when they turned the fucking recording on, and they both had different agendas of what they wanted to do. The woman was trying to talk about the history of the friendship of Essie Davis and Jennifer Kent. And she went and just into the history of the thing. And they would just both interrupt each other over and over again. And he would just read written reviews of this movie. So they'd just be like, excuse me for a second, if I will right now. I just want to read this one thing. And she's like, oh, yes, excuse me for a second. I want to talk about the history of this thing here.
Oh, man. So they had never done a commentary before either, probably.
No.
And since they weren't related to anything with the movie, they suck at it.
And it was so bad that we do this.
Terrible.
We sit and talk to each other and laugh and have fun. And it was so bad. And it was like, oh God, do we sound like these people to some people?
No.
I fucking hope not. I bet to some people, but hopefully, I don't think we're as bad.
This bad?
Oh my God.
Wait, so pardon me.
Oh, excuse me. Actually,
John, pardon me. I'd love to read this review real quick, John. If you wouldn't mind,
I'm going to read from this book that I read that none of you guys like, but I'm going to...
Oh, yeah, but actually, we're going to talk about the movie from before. Not this movie, but the other movie.
No, exactly.
Yeah, right,
This guy went to high school with another guy.
This is not from The Hateful Eight. This is from Inglourious Basterds.
Right,
But
because that's what I have.
This is Evil Dead 1, not 2. 1.
Not
Great. Shit.
Maybe we do sound like them.
Maybe so.
Yeah. At least we have some rapport.
No, we have some
They don't
rapport.
have
That's
shit.
the real
So,
thing.
yeah.
And we don't think highly of ourselves, which is always endearing, right?
No.
Well.
But TC does. No, you think of yourself less than either me or John.
Out of all of us? I was going to say.
Are you sure?
That problem's either going to be with me or John. Probably me, I would think.
I'm the snob.
Denny's never wrong.
I don't
Don't
know.
worry.
Yeah, I don't know, John.
I don't know. I
try to keep it in check, but it's really hard to keep in check.
Especially when you're
so good. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Such a real problem. Such a fear.
It is.
Right. That's some funny shit right there.
So I had to shut it off, but I gleaned some information before I had to shut off. And I apologize for shutting off. Sometimes I just can't fucking handle it, you guys.
It sounds like something I would never watch.
Yeah,
no kidding.
It's
we
just,
can spare
I've
the
very
listeners.
rarely shut off a commentary track. And I think every time it's been for a movie that I've hated already, you know?
True. Well, again, you're trying to be fair to them. They didn't know what they were doing. They just might have had a tape recorder. They didn't know, you're going to do commentary. Okay. I mean, maybe
it
they
sounded
didn't
professionally
know,
recorded.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
they
but
might
so do
have
we.
no idea what they were supposed to do.
That's half the game, TC. Come on.
Yeah. It's not that hard these days.
So I think I touched on a little bit of this. Essie Davis was good with kids in this movie. It's mostly because she hosted a kid show in Australia. So she was like the host of a kid show where she would like look into the camera and like talk to children and try to like
Captain Kangaroo or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Where she has like, her towards the beginning when she had a real nice little quiet, calming voice on,
Yeah.
I assume that's the voice she used for the kid show. So then there was a 35-minute long interview with Essie Davis, which was really good. It was just kind of her sitting in a movie theater chair answering questions. I would totally recommend that. If you
we never got
trivia.
to. I didn't get it. You never got to finish your thought about the movie she said they were going to make. So were they going to make a non-horror version of this?
So it was going to be, like the Pan's Labyrinth thing.
That was it. Okay, that wasn't the Babadook thing. It was more,
right.
Okay, gotcha.
And one of the movies, they said it was a combination between Pan's Labyrinth and The Nightingale. And The Nightingale exists now. She wrote The Nightingale. It came out in 2019, I think. So
which I hear is a very uncomfortable film to watch. I don't know.
I've had that on my queue for a long time. I probably should have watched it for this, but it just looks pretty hard to watch.
Yeah.
So
So
Essie Davis's husband made the movie Snowtown. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. It's like a zombie movie that takes place in the snow.
Oh, okay.
It got pretty good reviews the year it came out. It made like the indie movie circuit, like I think it was Cannes Festival. Jennifer Kent was friends with Essie Davis, so they met at Cannes. Kent gave the script to the husband, and the husband gave it to Essie Davis. And while they were waiting at the airport, she read the entire script, knowing it was for her. And the husband like helped push it through to producers in Australia to help get it made. So Essie Davis talked about how emotional it was. She went method. The hardest scene for her was the one where she was crawling across the ground and she was kind of shaking and the Babadook was right behind her.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising because she screams a lot, but she said for that one, she had to put herself in a headspace of like trying to think about how it would feel or look and feel, I guess, to be just like completely paralyzed with fear. And that's what she was doing.
Yeah. No, that came across pretty well.
It did.
And scary. Have you ever had that experience where you like can't move because you're scared?
Yeah, I've had it.
I don't think I have.
It's not great.
I think can't remember. I feel like I have it once. I don't remember the circumstances. I think I'm a runner. Was scared of something.
I run.
You're a bolter.
Yeah. If I feel really afraid, I just take off in the other direction.
Yeah. You're just gone.
Yeah.
It's like, hey Denny, do you see that over there? What Denny? Where'd he go?
Denny.
He's just gone.
Just get out of this area. We gotta get out of the area.
That's right. That would have been a very short movie with the Babadook. It's like, then he's out of the house, and he's gone.
And he's gone.
Shit.
Denny never came back. I don't know what to tell you, kid. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
So, getting into the trick camera work for how they made it seem like she was with the kid the entire time. There were scenes when they had both of them in the frame. Like, all this was no special effects, no CG, no camera tricks. All the special effects were in camera. All the Babadook stuff with the weird special effects was stop motion and motion smoothing. So that was all just real shit. Like you're watching the entire time. And like just lighting and the antler things were real props. Like all that stuff was just 100% real.
Wow.
There were shots when Essie Davis would be yelling at the kid actor and you would see his face in the frame. And what she would be doing is she would be yelling her, like she'd be mouthing her lines and emoting without actually saying the words. And then they would ADR her lines in afterwards so the kid didn't know what she was saying.
Oh.
Jesus.
That's crazy because the ADR was really good then, right? Because you would have never guessed.
Yeah.
No, you would never.
Yeah, they might
have guessed.
They said that they had to budget for double production because they had to shoot each scene twice with the kid because of these things. I assume for that type of thing, they would have her go back in and just record in that exact area in the studio set because they had it. And that's probably why it sounded so good because it was just like in the spot, same mic placement, same room. Sounds great.
Right. That's fair.
So that's when his face was in the shot. There were a lot of shots where it was just her and the kid would be gone.
Right.
And the reverse shot of the kid would be him like playing basically. And they just cut it to make it look really good together. Like you didn't even think about it. And they'd have to shoot that twice, right? Because you'd shoot her by herself and then shoot him by himself. Usually you just shoot two people at the same time. And whenever there was the back of the kid, and you couldn't see his face, it was an adult wearing the kid's clothes and having the kid's wig on his knees in front of the camera.
Nice.
That happened a lot too. Whenever you see the back of the kid's head and not his face, that's not the kid.
That's not the kid.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have guessed. So it didn't Didn't notice.
All the tricks work 100% perfectly, right? There's not a second of this movie I'm like, oh, that looks weird. What is that?
Right. Yeah, no, definitely not. I didn't notice.
That's pretty sweet. I keep saying the kid. His name is Noah. I should probably use his name.
Stop calling him the kid.
Yeah, stop calling him the kid.
Don't call him the boy. Don't call him the boy.
Bring me the boy. You can bring me the boy.
Bring me the boy.
There was one kind of a cute story. I don't know how true it was. They could have been covering their own asses. But the kid Noah, there was a scene where he was acting it out and he was trying to be scared. And he hit his elbow on like the wall or something. And he started to like well up in the eyes. And all of them were just like, use it, Noah, use it. And they kind of like cheered him on through the scene. And he got the shot with the tears and everything. And that's one of the things that they used. And as soon as that thing was done, he was like excited. He's like, I did it. I acted. I used it. And like everyone came around him and like picked him up and just like hugged him and shit. So it was like a very nice little moment there for him.
Yeah.
It really seems like they were really considerate on this set. They really were being like very careful about
and in other productions, I'd be like, this is just them covering their ass because they had to have scared the shit out of this kid. But like, honestly, all the people, you can tell when people are full of shit. These people weren't full of shit. Like Essie Davis was being honest. The director, Jennifer Kent, they're just honest people. You can tell.
Well, these people also had never done it before, right? The directors knew.
Yeah.
Right? They haven't run through a bunch of stuff. Directors they're not like, jaded yet. They're not part of the machine yet. They're like, this is their baby. There's only $2 million of budget. They're having a good time.
It's pretty nice. It's refreshing. They tested this in Australia. They sat in the back. No one made a sound. They were afraid. Really? Like their first thought was, well, at least we made like a beautiful movie with like some real good drama. A very unscary, beautiful movie. That's what we did. And then they went to Sundance, and that's what they thought is like going into this because they already saw it screened in Australia. And people were screaming and jumping and shouting and jumping out of their seats the entire showtime. And Essie Davis specifically.
People in Australia are just boring or something like what's going on?
Essie Davis shot on Australians multiple times. She's Australian. She's just like Australian movie production people, not good Australian fans of art. They don't like it unless it's like from out of popular in other countries. Like, and she had points to prove it. It's like, it's not just from this movie. It's like a known thing in Australia. And this movie proves it in multiple ways, which is fucking weird. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I don't hear much about Australia.
So. That must have been great for them to be like, hey, it really is a horror movie.
It was her favorite experience in movie making still.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, she like thought she was going nuts. Like, is this really not scary?
Yeah.
And they made it to other people and they were like freaking out. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah, she thanked the US and the UK a lot for accepting it. So this is a pretty funny story. Back in 2016, a couple years after this movie came out, Netflix accidentally listed this movie as a LGBT film. And people on the internet noticed this, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
And so then all these other websites started talking about how there were metaphors for the Babadook being gay, things like that. And it really took off and gave the movie second legs, which is very strange.
Because like people were talking about it again.
Yeah, they were talking about it again. They actually
from a whole different angle.
So Jennifer Kent is quoted saying she loved the meme, saying, "I think it's crazy, and the meme just kept it alive. I thought, you bastard. He doesn't want to die, so he's finding a new way to become relevant." Talking about the Babadook.
That's funny.
Nice.
But they actually re-released the movie during Pride Month in 2017 and gave all the money to Pride Month causes, that sort of thing.
Cool.
And you can actually still buy, this must have not been very popular because they only made 2,500 of these, but Shout Factory in 2019 has a LGBTQ Pride edition of the Babadook on sale.
Fuck.
Look up the image. Look up the image.
I can't imagine. Is it like rainbow Babadook?
It's rainbow Babadook.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And it must have not sold very well because, I mean, good for them or whatever, but like this movie has nothing to do with that. There's no reason for it.
I mean, it's I guess just funny, but it's like, I wonder.
Isn't that just a weird little story, like a little thing that happened because of Netflix's mistake?
I mean, maybe people thought maybe that meant the director was gay, or there's other sort of things.
There's so many things people would have put two and two together on. Yeah,
I guess.
You don't expect Netflix to make mistakes or something, I guess.
Whoopsie! But then they're like, okay, I wonder if other people are going to try to do that. Like, there's whatever's the hot, what's the hot,
you ain't
topic.
Fucking with that shit. You don't mistakenly do
that's true.
Shit
Yeah,
like
not
that.
on purpose, right?
No way.
That's true.
Yeah. And the last thing I got is that William Friedkin, the director of The Exorcist, said that after he saw this movie, he thinks it's the scariest movie he's ever seen in his life.
Oh, bring me the boy.
Yeah, Stephen King also had a really good review on this one too. I think like he was really singing its praises.
If you like horror, you're gonna like this one. There's like zero chance
I think
that
that's
won't.
probably safe to say for sure.
I think so, unless you're disturbed by it being a little too real in a way.
Well, fuck you then. You're not a real horror. If it's not
That's
enough
true.
blood and
you don't really like horror movies.
Yeah. This isn't bullshit art house horror either, because that stuff is on the edge of
but even like it's not like shock horror either.
It's
not
is.
like
it has all the tropes. It has the base, like all the things I listed before. It has all the.
But you go there, like some people might like horror and be in it for the fun, but not want it to be that real. You know, like oh, it's demons and hell and there's people, blood and guts, and that's fun but scary. But this is like real and scary along with the horror elements. That could be, I mean, that may be why Naomi is like, that's enough. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily blame her for that either, because it has that reality element that makes this more disturbing.
Yeah, you can't laugh during this one. There's no like laugh.
Not
out
even
loud
Denny.
moments. I laughed at the end. There was that one joke. What did he say? Who was he talking to? He wasn't allowed at his cousin's house anymore because he broke her nose in 2 places.
Oh,
at the very end, I laughed at that.
That was a bit of a lighthearted moment, because he was just like, it was kind of cute how he did that.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah,
not a very laughable movie.
No. Just a lot of ooh.
If you're laughing at this, you might be a psycho.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm below that bar. That's good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Given your inappropriate laughter, that's at least some encouragement for you.
Not one of the ones I would laugh at. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Saw, on the other hand, dying laughing. Come on. They cut his own hand off.
That's
Hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, would you put this in the top 250?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Really?
would too.
TC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Coming from a
This is
non-horror
great-
fan.
Yeah.
It was creepy as fuck. I just, didn't get too involved, but I never do.
But it's really extremely well crafted. It's not just that, and which is also good. But the acting's good. All of the filmmaking is good. What they did with their budget, and
the fact that it was only $2 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's just extremely
insane.
well done for what it is.
She must have taken payment on the back end.
Yeah, just nothing. Must have been nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all the budget went to the movie. Yeah. Residuals only. Well,
And what is it, like a
did all right.
pop-up? The pop-up, I mean, it's just a bunch of artists working for nothing, right?
Pretty
Stop
much.
motion
Sounds
stuff.
like it.
I wonder
Yeah.
who designed the pop-up book, because that's fucking amazing.
That name is on the credits. You can find that. That's a knowable piece of information, not unsurprisingly.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I just
thank
don't know what it is. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I would too.
I'm just saying that was remarkable design on that book, even.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Like while they were doing the production thing, they'd give you monthly updates and they'd talk about what they were doing. They went through multiple rounds of like QCing and, they're building a product that's highly customized. Like pop-up books aren't a thing anymore. I guess they're not. I don't know. Are they not?
Kids, there's still kids pop-up books.
guess
Yeah,
so.
for kids like them. We have a number in our house. They don't hold up well.
They don't. So these are actually pretty.
Not for kids.
I'm afraid to I've only opened that book. This is like the 3rd time I've opened it through all the pages, just because I'm afraid of like destroying it, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty fragile. Yeah.
But it's pretty solid. Like the paper is thick. The outside, I don't know if you can tell the outside of the book. It's just textured like the movie. Like it's some kind of like vinyl something or other. It's like scratchy.
Ah.
It's quality shit. I'm proud of it. I'm going to sell
Yeah,
it
you
for.
should be.
It's
If
cool.
you have $2,500 and you're looking for a Babadook book, just email mission250filmcast@gmail.com. We'll
There you
talk.
go.
We'll get that for you right away.
That's right. All right, we're
You're not
going back
gonna
to
part
the.
with
I'm never going to part with it now. I'll be buried
I
with it. It just be me and my Babadook book in the grave.
That's right.
Yeah.
And nobody else, because you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, because you're.
But at least I didn't laugh during this movie, John. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. All right. So yeah, happy Halloween. That was a fun little detour
good.
there.
Yep.
Good choices all around, I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Next week, we're
Back-
getting
back to the
back into it.
grind.
Back into it, guys.
Oh,
we
great.
1988.
1950? Oh,
1988. Very
Ooh.
odd year. Not a lot of
Hairspray.
80s movies on this.
No.
What is it?
Giuseppe Tornatore.
Try that one again.
Giuseppe Tornatore. That
There
could
we
be
go.
right. I don't know.
Mm.
The
Giuseppe.
movie's called Cinema Paradiso.
Okay.
The synopsis is a filmmaker recalls his childhood when falling in love with the pictures at the cinema of his home village and forms a deep friendship with the cinema's projectionist.
Can we go back to horror movies?
One more week of Halloween? What do you say?
Yeah. That sounds miserable.
Yeah, and there's different versions of this movie too. I forget which one you're supposed to watch because there's like a theatrical and a director's cut, and they're supposed to be pretty different because it's not just longer and shorter. I think the edit is like totally different.
All right. Well, let us know, Denny, if you do find
I'll text
that
you
out.
guys.
So, okay.
Because I forgot to.
I'll watch the wrong one, and then we'll be good.
I'll get the one that pops up on Amazon when I press the movie in, and that'll be the
I'll
one
get
that
whatever one shows up that I can get easily. That's what I'll watch.
Yeah. That sounds about right. That's the way it's gone so far. So you can let us know whatever version.
Which one that is, and that's the one we'll watch. Right. Okay.
Sweet.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, that was good.
All right. Don't stay up too late tonight, guys, because it's Halloween. You know, you might get like, I don't know. What do you get these days? Egged? People go out on Halloween this year? John, you got kids.
Shaving
what are you
cream.
going to do?
Still, do they do that?
Go trick-or-treating.
You're going to go trick-or-treating?
Oh, yeah. We're going to do that.
You didn't go last year, though, right?
No. Last year we had to stay at home.
COVID.
Like we hid candies around like the basement and did sort of like a
Easter egg
hunt.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of, basically.
Nice.
But this year it's supposed to be like, okay.
Yeah, okay. And
outdoors.
we'll probably wear masks even if we need to. The kids are so used to that now.
A mask under a mask.
Yeah, right.
Double mask.
Yeah, do you even need a mask? Do they build Halloween masks with the COVID masks in it? That'd be
They
nice.
should.
Of course
If
they
they
do.
were
Bank
smart.
on that. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, sweet.
All right,
Good luck.
boys.
Have fun with those little guys.
Yep. Enjoy the
well.
Halloween.
All right. We'll talk
See
to
you
you guys later. See you next week.
Later.
Go to mission250filmcast.com.
We're back.
There you go.
And we're out.
Stop 'em.